Welcome to Wind Down Wednesday. Here are your hosts, Jeffrey Tobias Halter and Amanda Hammett.
This is Wind Down Wednesdays, a contemporary midweek discussion on current workplace and marketplace issues with a focus on diversity, inclusion, intersectionality, and equality. And this is always best enjoyed with your favorite wind down beverage of choice. I'm Amanda Hammett, and this is my friend and colleague, Jeffrey Tobias Halter. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Wind Down Wednesday. I am your host, Amanda Hammett, and I am joined with my favorite co-host ever, well, my only co-host ever, Jeffrey Tobias Halter. Jeffrey, how are you, and what are you drinking in this 2022 today?
You know, Amanda, I'm doing great, and it's a chilly 2022 winter day. So I'm actually enjoying a coffee with some delicious Bailey's Irish cream in it. I think it's the perfect thing for winter, a little hot toddy. What about yourself?
I thought Jeffrey's going to be so proud of me. I actually brought the bottle today.
Nice.
A New Zealand Pinot Noir. This is Fifth Ridge. It's a 2017. So it's delicious. I highly recommend it. And of course, I need to get to New Zealand and try it, in its native land.
Absolutely. A 2022 goal. Well, we're going to kick off today's show, and I am so honored to introduce a friend and a colleague of mine, Joann S Lublin. I had the pleasure of meeting Joann at the Catalyst Awards in New York a few years ago, and really a groundbreaking woman. Joann's the author of 2 books about female business leaders. Her latest is Power Moms: How Executive Mothers Navigate Work and Life. And this was published just about a year ago now, February 2021. Her first popular leadership book, Earning It: Hard-Won Lessons from Trailblazing Women at the Top of the Business World, offers unique insights from 52 high-level executive women and the obstacles they've had to overcome. She was a trailblazer. Joann is the former managing news editor of the Wall Street Journal. She created its first career advice column, which she wrote until May 2020. Joann shared the journal's 2003 Pulitzer Prize for stories about corporate scandals. And in 2008, she won the Gerald Loeb Lifetime Achievement Award, the highest accolade in business journalism. And so it's my pleasure to finally get to reconnect with you on our Wind Down Wednesday. Of course, the first question I have to ask is, what is your wind down beverage of choice?
Well, neither of what either one of you are drinking.
That's
I'm
fine.
a Perrier person.
Perrier person. Wonderful.
We
encourage all types of beverages on our show.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to jump in right now. And there's so much to cover, so much great data in your book. And I'm a big data guy. Power Women came out about a year ago. And it seems so particularly timely given the realities of COVID and the pressures of working parents. As you researched it and then wrote the book, and even, thinking about today, what were your biggest takeaways?
Well, I decided to do Power Moms as a sequel to my first book because that book focused overwhelmingly on women in the boomer generation. All but one of those 52 women in that book were boomers. And so I wanted to see what had changed or what had not changed between the first wave of executives who got to be moms and enter the executive ranks and the younger wave, women who were in their early 30s to early 40s, Gen Xers and millennials. And the thing that I found that was striking was that there had been a profound cultural shift between those two generations. And it was indeed easier for those younger women who were becoming executives and having children. And there were 3 reasons. One was advances in technology. A second was the fact that they now had more supportive spouses, whether they were men or women. But thirdly, the workplace had changed. Companies had woken up and smelled the coffee or the New Zealand wine, as it might have been their choice, and recognized that working parents, and in particular working moms are people who are worth hiring, recruiting, promoting. And partly those workplaces had changed because that first wave of women had made it into the executive ranks.
Ah, I love this. I love this. I love this. So, Joann, I'd like to ask, what are your thoughts on how businesses can successfully retain employees with kids? Or how do workplaces work for working parents like myself?
Well, there are many, many more people who are working and have kids than are not, if you include the dads. And
Absolutely.
so I think it's really important, if you want to make work for parents, is to, number one, to recognize that parents, by their very role, are bringing some strengths to the workplace that they've gained by having kids. They know how to delegate. They know how to set priorities. They know how to multitask. And for women in particular, they are very, very empathetic listeners, I think, to a greater degree than all but the extraneous or occasional example of a guy who's highly involved in parenting. But I also think you can make work for parents if you set the tone at the top and have male executives who make it not only acceptable, but expected that they will take parental leave. And at the same time, you need to make sure that you expand both the value and the types of child care assistance that you're giving. In a story I recently wrote for the Wall Street Journal, I talked about companies looking at, for instance, helping people share nannies or share a slot at a child care center, because not everybody's going to be coming in the office 5 days a week, even as offices reopen.
That's awesome. Very good.
Yeah, and that's so good, because I think there's organizational things that leaders can do. What happens if, Joann, if I'm just a line manager and I want to support women on my team? We've got a wide variety of folks who listen to our podcasts. They're not all at the senior level. What's one or two things as a manager, maybe 8 or 10 people, that I can do to be more supportive?
Well, I think the most important thing you can do to be a supportive manager is to listen and to frequently ask for feedback from everyone on your team, not just the ones with kids, because everybody's trying to have a personal life outside of work, and everyone's personal needs are constantly changing. And in so doing, you may find out that it's really important for everybody, particularly those who are continuing to work remotely at least part of the time, to have protected time, a slot of a couple hours a day in which you know that you are totally unreachable by work, and let those individual members of your team choose that particular slot. You also should make the whole arrangement of working from home a permanent arrangement, and one in which those who are working remotely part or full-time are not kind of left in the dust when it comes time to assess people's performance. I also think it would be really, really useful if you suggested to your higher-ups in your company that as people take these parental leaves that are hopefully men and women alike, that the company provides you with a pool of money so that you can hire some temporary staff to fill in some of those gaps when people are gone for 4, 5, 6 months. American Express does this, and it's one of the companies I highlight in Power Mom.
Absolutely. Such good information here. We should Jeffrey, just take what Joann just said and just play it for people, play it for employees, and play it for managers all around. Well, Joann, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. And for those of you in the audience, you can find Joann's books yourself. The latest one, again, is Power Moms: How Executive Mothers Navigate Work and Life, and the original, Earning It: Hard-Won Lessons from Trailblazing Women, at the top of the business world. So you can find these at any of your favorite booksellers. And of course, you can go check out more about Joann herself at her website, which is joannlublin.com. That's JoannLublin.com. Well, you guys, thanks again for joining us, and we will see you in the very next episode of Wind Down Wednesday. Cheers. Thanks again for joining us for Wind Down Wednesdays, a contemporary midweek discussion on current workplace and marketplace issues with a focus on diversity, inclusion, intersectionality, and equality. I'm Amanda Hammett, and on behalf of myself and Jeffrey Tobias Halter, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for joining us for Wind Down Wednesday. If you like this episode, please subscribe to receive more episodes straight to your inbox.